Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is September the 13th, 2023, and today the topic is Promises Made, Promises Kept. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you all had a wonderful Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Yeah, man, if I give you guys my day in a nutshell, for the most part, your girl was out here recording. I recorded a couple of things yesterday. One, I was on someone else's platform. I'm sure I'm going to share that if the Lord's will in the future. And then I also recorded an episode of GSL. Um, so yeah, that was the main thing. I literally let my hair down yesterday, so that's another thing that happened. I gave myself my anniversary manicure yesterday too, y'all. I asked my husband. I was getting ready to do one color, and I was like, "Well, since it's our anniversary coming up, do you have a preference?" And of course, he started talking about the Ravens, so I'm like, "All right, purple it is." So that was something else that happened yesterday as well. But yeah, man, yeah, yesterday overall was just a good day. Nothing too much outside of those things I just told you. So y'all, let's get into the juice. Let's get into what the Lord has shared with me this morning. I woke up around 1:50 this morning, and so obviously that's part of the inspiration for today's conversation. Um, Once it came time for me to do the juice, regular time of waking up at 4, um, I was going back and forth between like looking up things and then go back to sleep and all that type of stuff. So by the time I got back up, it was like, I don't even know what time it was, but basically, um, I felt led to go deeper about this idea of promises and in some ways signs. Um, but the more I started looking into that, the more I started focusing on the promise aspect. So um I don't know, but let me share with you guys what ultimately led me here, okay? So like I said, I woke up this morning at 1:50. The verse that I came across this morning was John 1:50. It says, Jesus answered and said unto him, because I said unto thee, I saw thee under the fig tree, believest thou? Thou shalt see greater things than these. So reading that verse this morning made me think about, like, I guess the different things in my life that set me on this path that I'm on today, right? Sure, yeah, I talk a lot about the cultivation period because obviously that was those life-changing moments where, I was seeking the Lord for myself, reading the Bible, um, doing my best to change, right, to prepare for the things that I wanted and things of that nature. But I would say, and I think anybody that knows my testimony already, y'all know these things, but just in case you don't, um, there were things that has happened that, I guess I would say fueled the fire of my faith. And one of those main things was me and my husband. I know y'all probably like, here you go, talking about your husband again, like he the best thing since sliced bread or whatever. Man, and maybe he's not to y'all, maybe it's to me, I don't know. But not just the whole him thing and like finally becoming a wife and all of that, but it was more so like it was the thing to show me that God was really there with me and was listening to me in those times and in that season where I didn't have no indication around me. Again, when I talk about the cultivation period, in my single days in my 20s, when I'm sitting here praying for a husband and a spouse and all this different type of stuff, not to be like the guys around me wasn't good guys or something, but they weren't, I guess, what I needed. And so when I did meet my now husband, it was like this very eye-opening thing to be like, you know what? That means that all them prayers that I said back in the day and all those different things and all the push to become, who I am today and all that stuff wasn't in vain. And it was just another thing to, I guess, confirm to me that not just God is real, but like, yeah, without a better way to say it. So basically, so that was one of the things, obviously. And the more that fueled me to, start trusting God more with my career. That fueled me to also start ultimately, these days I'm trusting God more with my finances. in just every aspect of my life. But again, it was a process for me to get here. Because if you had to ask me back in the day again during the cultivation period, whatever the case may be, I was struggling in those areas to trust God fully. And I was out here trying to do my own thing to get to the dreams and visions that God had given me about my life. And here I am now in the midst of the different things. Even though things might look a little different than what I imagined or whatever, but at the same time, I am all the things that God told me I am, right? And showed me that I am. And I'm doing just about, if not all, the things that God has put in my heart and mind to do. Um, and so to me, all of these things are signs, wonders, miracles, the blessings of my own life, right? Now, I don't know where you are in life, right? I don't know if you have received these type of confirmations or not, even I would say, shout out to my friend, man. I know she's going through a journey of growth and everything like that. And she tagged me in a post yesterday, I guess thanking me for our friendship and things of that nature. And see, even things like that is like confirmation to me that I'm in the right place at the right time doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And every now and then, I know not that I'm looking for a sign, right? But I appreciate having those moments of confirmation because there's a lot out here that can get to distract us and make us feel like, okay, I know God promised that I'm going to be this and that, or I know that, I had in my heart to be a great friend or whatever the case may be, right? And then you're like, but is that true? Is that real? I've definitely had, different things that have happened in life to make me questioning, am I a good friend? I'm trying to be, but then I'm trying to be a good friend to people that don't seem to get, or see my heart. It's happened with work relationships and friendships and all that different type of stuff, right? And then you're doubting and you're wondering, you're like, am I, you know what I mean? Like, what about me is giving off this impression, or maybe I'm crazy, or whatever the things you might be thinking when it comes to, the different things that make us doubt, who we are, who God says we are, what he has for us, all those different things. And so those were the things that I started thinking about this morning after reading that verse. I wanted to go deeper about this concept of getting, I guess, confirmations. But ultimately it led me to this whole topic about promises. So let me share some more verses with you guys because, the topic is promises made, promises kept. So the next verse I felt led to share with you guys is Numbers 23:19. It says, God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he shall change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? I just told y'all last week, right? There was something that had been on my heart and mind, and I like the last attempt, which was a few months ago. The last attempt to bring this thing to fruition, I just thought it was dead because it didn't pan out, and I was like, Lord, I'm done with it. Like, honestly, I done washed my hands of it. At the end of the day, we can move on and focus on something else because it ain't that deep. You know what I mean? To me, at that point, but last week, here I am seeing an 11-year, work and 11-year, I guess, promise come to fruition. And see, that's the thing. Like, we can't rush God and his time. And at the end of the day, again, things are going to happen according to his will, his way. Sure. Yeah. It would have been nice to, get something done in a year versus 11. But do you think I care about the 11 years now? No, indeed. Actually, I'm glad for the 11 years, because if not for the 11 years, then there'd be certain things in place that are currently in place now that would not have been in place, and things will be just slightly different. So I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful for what God is doing. I'm thankful for, finally being in a place of trusting God fully with every aspect of my life, and allowing him to lead, throughout all the, the ups and downs and different things like that. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, and I come on here and tell y'all that every day almost, that, hey, man, I struggle in this area still sometimes, but at the end of the day, because of the things that I've seen him do in my life with me, for me, and through me, I don't really have any reason to doubt or fear. At the end of the day, if God has made me a promise, then I can believe that it'll happen. And even if it don't ever happen in my lifetime, um, I believe that, I guess, my seed, or, my bloodline will see the fruit. And so, and, that's ultimately, I guess, the main juice of today is just to understand that, again, God's timing is different from ours. And, so don't get discouraged or whatever, because it's not happening super quick. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to want things to be done decently and in order, instead of rush, or trying to, again, force our way into certain positions, or force our way into certain dreams or aspirations that God has maybe put on our heart and mind. um Again, he is not a man that he should lie. Like, at the end of the day, if he said something is going to happen, then just look for it. Just start preparing and looking for it. Again, he told me I was going to be a wife all those years ago, and I was just waiting. At some point, instead of trying to force it, I just started to prepare. And different things like that. And so, just saying, y'all, just something to think about when it comes to this. Again, you don't rush the process. At the end of the day, again, it might look a little different, and it might take a little longer, or whatever the case may be. But if he said it, then you might as well just go ahead and believe it, because it's coming. Let's go to 2 Peter 3:9. It says, the Lord is not slow to fulfill his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should reach repentance. So a lot of times, if you feel like something is taking a long time, it might be because you're not in the right position. It could be because you're not doing, you're not in God's will, whatever the case may be. So, he's being patient with you, right? At the end of the day, he's being patient with you. Like, why would he? I know this is something that I had to understand back in the day. Why would he give me my quote unquote husband back in the day, right? When my mindset was all about making the man my God, you know what I mean? Like, and I say that I can plainly say that now, because again, I put those guys in my past before God, with my actions, but when it came to my now spouse, I just, my focus was more so on God than him in a lot of ways. Like, I saw him, I acknowledged him, and I appreciated him. But meeting him ultimately led me to be like, you know what? Because I see this thing, and because I know what has happened in the past, what I need to do is focus on giving God the glory, God the honor, and whatnot in this situation. Yes, you are great, but God made you. And so I gotta acknowledge God in everything when it comes to this. And here we are today. 7 years is around the corner for us, y'all. Well, at least that's 7 years of marriage. Who knows? Are we at a decade of being together? I got to do the math. Y'all do the math between 2014 and now. And that's how many years we've been together. But yeah, so it's just one of those things to think about and everything like that. I think that's 9 years. But anyway, y'all can look. It's whatever time in the morning, y'all give me some grace with the math. Y'all can go calculate or whatever you guys need to do. But so yeah, he's not slow to fulfill his promise. He's giving us grace, mercy, and time, right, to get it right, and everything like that. If he was to go ahead and take us out, and and whatnot, how many of us will make it in? Probably not many. Maybe I wouldn't have made it in a few years ago. So let's just be clear about that. Like, at the end of the day, if God is extending you grace and mercy, then take the grace and mercy, y'all. And as you, again, once you start to be in alignment with God's will and way, then you're going to start seeing, things come to fruition. But until then, don't expect the blessings of God when you out of the will. Like, at the end of the day, you might get a blessing here or there, but that don't mean it's from God, one. And then two, but yeah, anyway, y'all can go deeper about all that. Let me see. Mark 10:27. It says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man it is impossible, but not with God, for all things are possible with God. Yeah, y'all. I mean, again, I don't know as I was writing down these verses today, I know they felt kind of random in some ways. I was like, Lord, okay, at first I'm starting to think about this topic. Now we focused on your promises and things of that nature. But I mean, I hope that these things are coming together in a beautiful way for you to understand. Um, so, I mean, again, if we're thinking about the promises of God, right? If we're thinking about those things that come and they're like confirmations and things like that in our lives, um, and some of the things may be too big, right, in our head. We're like, man, this is huge. I don't even see this happening. I don't see how this can happen. I mean, I got a couple of things like that in my life right now, um, that I'm like, but I'm not doubting that it'll happen. My whole thing is just it's a matter of time of when it's going to happen. I believe that these things, that these big visions that God has presented me with, will happen in His timing. But that's what I'm saying. Like some things may be just that great and grand, and you're like, man, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. Um, and stuff like that. But hey, y'all, I guess what I'm receiving here with this verse is letting us know that, hey, with man, it might be impossible, but with God, all things are possible. So you don't have to doubt or fear that, those grand, big things that God is, giving you visions for and things, it's going to happen or not. Again, I just say start preparing, again, like, years ago when God gave me GSL, I had no clue that it was going to be doing what it's doing right now. I just thought it was a talk show. But to God be the glory for His vision, right? To God be the glory for His ideas and His plans and whatnot. In some ways, if someone had to tell me, oh, your show will be international and you'll be talking to people around the world, it might have been a little bit impossible with the vision that I had, right? Because again, if I was sitting here filming in Atlanta, how would I be sitting, if you had asked me years ago, I wouldn't have been I would have been confused about how I would have been, interviewing international people. Maybe I would have like, maybe we could, how would they come, or would they come to my show? Things of that nature and things like that. But, I literally the gentleman that I interviewed yesterday is in Malta. You know what I mean? And so it's just one of those things that, again, we don't have to be discouraged about the grandness of God's vision for us in our life. At the end of the day, just understand that all things are possible with Him, and work towards it. Do what you can with what you have, and watch God do the rest. That's all I can say about all that, y'all. I mean, yeah, I mean, those are all the verses that I have for you all this morning. I hope that they are encouraging and inspiring. If you feel like God has made you a promise or two, then I would say just go ahead and prepare and look forward to come to fruition. If you feel like God hasn't made you any promises, things like that, there's plenty of things that you guys can go deeper about. There's a couple of articles in the Go Deeper section, of course, at our friends at gotquestions.org. I only say that because I use them so much these days. The two articles that I took out, or took a look at this morning, was what are the promises of God? So if you're somebody that feel like, man, God ain't promised me nothing, then hey, go check out that article. Maybe that will encourage you and inspire you. And if you're somebody that, maybe you got a lot of thoughts and ideas and stuff, and you're like, well, what thing is for me? There's an article called How Do I Know Which of God's Promises Are for Me? So you guys can check those two things out. I hope that you guys, go deeper and let them marinate on your heart, souls, and minds, because that is the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world. My apologies, y'all. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good. Y'all can confirm whether that's right or not. But what is that's good and acceptable and perfect will of God, friends. I hope y'all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. We got an all-staff meeting today, and by the past all-staff meetings, look, I'm going expecting the word. So looking forward to the all-staff meeting. NJ's supposed to go to class today, so we're going to figure that out. Either he's going to stay here and Papa's gonna set him up for class, or either I'm gonna take him with me and let the teachers or the ladies that be watching the children let them set him up for class. But we'll see. One of those things needs to happen. But outside of that, y'all, that's all that I have generally planned for today. We're gonna see what else the Lord do. But yeah, man, I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow with the Lord's will. Bye.